You finish dinner at 9 in the evening. You settle into the couch. By 10, your hand is inside a bag of something crunchy. You've heard the warning about sugar and carbs. But the real danger is hiding somewhere else. It is not the cookie itself. It is the shrinking silence between your last bite at night and your first bite the next morning. The length of your overnight fast may matter more than what you eat. What if the gap between dinner and breakfast mattered more than the meal itself? In 1960, the average American finished dinner around 6 p.m. Breakfast arrived at 7 a.m. the next day. That left a quiet window of 13 hours without food. Back then, type 2 diabetes was a rare disease. According to the Centers for Disease Control, fewer than 1 in 100 adults had it. Today, dinner slides past 8 p.m. The screen flickers until midnight. You grab a final handful of something sweet. Breakfast comes at 7 a.m., unchanged. Your overnight fast has shrunk to barely 8 hours. And diabetes now afflicts more than 1 in 10 adults. The curve of the disease tracks the vanishing fast. What happened to those missing hours? Researchers noticed the correlation long before they understood the mechanism. The question haunted them. Why would the timing of meals matter as much as the meals themselves? To answer that, you have to look inside your body at night. When the sun sets, your brain releases a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin tells every cell that darkness has arrived. Your pancreas, the organ that produces insulin, also listens. Insulin is the key that unlocks your cells to let sugar in from your blood. But at night, your pancreas naturally pulls back on insulin release. This makes evolutionary sense. Your ancestors did not hunt in the dark. Their blood sugar needed to stay stable during the long fast until dawn, so the body evolved a clock inside the pancreas. Why would your cells have a built-in dinner timer? A chronobiologist at the Salk Institute named Satchin Panda found that the beta cells of the pancreas follow a strict circadian rhythm. They anticipate a daily fast. They rest and repair during that window. If you eat late at night, you force the pancreas to wake up when it should be sleeping. It pumps out insulin against its own internal clock. Over years, this causes the beta cells to burn out. The system becomes confused. Your muscles and liver, also ruled by the clock, start ignoring the insulin signal. This is insulin resistance. The sugar stays in your blood. Type 2 diabetes begins not with a bang, but with a midnight snack. The shift from a 13-hour fast to an 8-hour fast did not happen by accident. It accelerated in the 1980s. The microwave oven became a kitchen staple. Television networks pushed primetime programming later into the night. Food companies marketed snacks as entertainment partners. The phrase midnight snack entered the cultural vocabulary. At the same time, public health messages focused solely on sugar and fat. No one warned about when you ate. The fasting window collapsed in plain sight. What could reverse that collapse? A researcher at the University of Alabama named Courtney Peterson decided to test the timing effect directly. She ran a clinical trial with men at risk for diabetes. One group ate all their meals between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. That created an 18-hour overnight fast. The other group ate the exact same meals between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. That spread created a 12-hour eating window, just like the modern American. The results were stunning. The early fasting group saw dramatic improvements in insulin sensitivity. Their blood pressure dropped, their oxidative stress levels fell, yet their weight stayed the same. The simple act of moving dinner earlier and closing the kitchen changed their biology. They ate no fewer calories. They lost no weight. But their bodies began to heal. If you trace the data back further, the pattern deepens. The National Health Interview Survey started tracking diagnosed diabetes in the late 1950s. In 1958, the prevalence among adults was 0.9%. By 1990, it had tripled to 2.9%. In 2000, it crossed 5%. Today, it hovers above 10%. Over the same decades, the average dinner time crept later. Snacking after 8 p.m. became a routine. Caloric intake rose as well, undeniably. But the fasting window shrank regardless of total calories. You can hold the calorie number steady and still harm your metabolism by eating late. That is the counterintuitive twist. Your grandmother's generation ate bread and butter. They ate pie and full-fat milk. But they closed the kitchen by 6 p.m., and their bodies got the full night's fast that the pancreas expected. This is not a nostalgic fantasy. Epidemiologists call it a counterfactual comparison. What would happen if you kept the modern diet but restored the ancient fast? Peterson's trial suggests you would slash your diabetes risk. Panda's lab showed the same in mice. Mice eating a fattening diet inside a restricted time window stayed lean and metabolically healthy. Mice eating the same diet around the clock became obese and diabetic. The clock mattered more than the calories. For a human being, the clock ticks in your blood. Your glucose levels after a late meal are higher and stay high longer. Your body secretes more insulin to compensate. So why does a late night bite hit differently? Every late night bite pushes the pancreas deeper into exhaustion. You might think you are safe because you eat healthy foods, but a late night kale chip still breaks the fast. Your body does not distinguish between a cookie and a carrot at midnight. It sees light, it senses food, and it fires the beta cells. The simple measurement of overnight hours without food is called the nightly fasting duration. Epidemiologists now use it to predict metabolic disease. A study tracking nearly 2,400 women over 2 decades found that each extra hour of overnight fasting lowered their breast cancer recurrence risk. For diabetes, the signal is even clearer. Shorter fasts correlate with higher hemoglobin A1C, a marker of average blood sugar. The hemoglobin A1C test tells you how much sugar has stuck to your hemoglobin over the last 3 months. When your fasting window drops below 9 hours, that number creeps upward. You can see the damage long before a doctor diagnoses you. It begins with that foggy feeling in the morning. Then comes the craving for sugar after a poor night's sleep. Next, notice the weight that settles around your waist despite your efforts. Your body is whispering that the internal clock is broken, and the broken clock accelerates aging. Advanced glycation end products form when sugar lingers in your blood. These sticky compounds stiffen your arteries and cloud your vision. They are the molecular scars of a fast that never came. So why isn't this knowledge everywhere? Because the advice you get focuses on the easy villains. Sugar is a villain, but the food industry can sell you sugar-free snacks that still destroy your fast. They can market a low-calorie ice cream eaten at 11 o'clock at night. The package never warns that the clock inside your cells is counting the hours since breakfast. The research on time-restricted eating has exploded in the last decade. The journal Cell Metabolism dedicated a special issue to it. Human trials now replicate the animal findings. The science is clear. You carry an ancient metabolic rhythm. It expects a long, dark fast. Every time you eat outside that rhythm, you force your body into a chemical conflict. You can choose to end that conflict tonight. Picture the kitchen of your childhood. Maybe you remember the sound of dishes being washed at 7. The stove was off until the next morning. That was not just habit. That was a biological safeguard your ancestors practiced without knowing why. They synced their meals to the sun because they had no choice. Now, electric light and delivery apps give you a choice, and the choice is hurting you. You can override it. You do not have to adopt a monk schedule. Just move your last meal 1 hour earlier. Close the kitchen by 7 p.m. tonight. If you usually snack at 10, push it to 9, then to 8, then eliminate it. Let your pancreas sleep. You will wake up with a lower fasting glucose. Within a week, your hunger at night will fade. Your body will remember the old rhythm. It will stop screaming for food at the wrong time. This is not a diet. It is a restoration. The 12-hour fast that kept diabetes away was never a prescription. It was the default state of human life before the modern kitchen. The world around you engineered it away by accident. You can reclaim it by intention. The data from the 1960s is not a nostalgic memory. It is a controlled experiment hidden in history. When the fast was long, the disease was rare. When the fast collapsed, the disease surged. The conclusion is as old as sleep. Your metabolism needs a night. Not just darkness for your eyes, but darkness for your blood. So tonight, when the clock strikes 9, look at the kitchen light. Remember the silence that your cells expect. The choice is not between sugar and no sugar. It is between a body awake and a body restored. That late cookie you were reaching for. It is not just a snack. It is the signal that the fast never began, and your body is still waiting. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. A new story every week.